Hello and welcome to another Board Crazy review. My name is D, and today I will be reviewing Planet with these two.
I'm Graham.
And I am Will. And that's all I have to say. D, your voice sounded a little different there in the opening.
Did it?
Yeah, you
How
going
so?
for something lower, more manly sounding?
Yes.
Okay.
So before we start reviewing Planet here, we're going to run my introduction to the game from our gameplay video, in case you haven't seen that yet, so you kind of have an idea of how the game works. Here that goes. Planet is a game for 2 to 4 players designed by Urtis, Šulinskas, and published by Blue Orange Games. In Planet, players are tasked with building up their 12-sided planets with continents so that animal life can flourish, and in this game, animals equal points. To set up, the 50 continent tiles are shuffled up and then arranged into 10 face-down stacks of 5 tiles each, then placed in a row. The animal cards are also shuffled, then 20 of those are drawn and arranged below the continent tiles in a pattern detailed in the rulebook. Each player receives a planet core and a single secret natural habitat objective card, which can earn bonus points at the end of the game. The game is played over 12 turns. Each turn starts with the leftmost stack of continent tiles being flipped over, and then each player in clockwise order selects one and adds it to their planet. Any unused tiles are used to make new 5-tile stacks for the 11th and 12th turns. Any unused tiles beyond that point are just discarded from the game. Starting with the third turn, animals start to appear on the planets. After the tiles have been drawn and placed, players then check to see if they've met any of the criteria required to collect the animal cards that are available that turn. Each animal comes with one of 3 types of criteria in order to be collected. Either having the most regions of one kind of habitat, having the largest region of a habitat that borders another specified habitat, or having the largest region of a habitat that doesn't border another specified habitat. In the event of a tie between 2 or more players over an animal, the animal is simply moved to the next turn and will be contested again. After the 12th turn, when the players' planets are full of tiles, the scores are tabulated. Players reveal their secret objectives and may receive points if their planet has enough areas of the indicated habitat. Next, players earn points from their animals. 1 point for each animal whose natural habitat is the same as their objective cards, and 2 points for those whose habitats are different. And as ever, the player with the most points at the end wins the game. Okay guys, so Planet,
No, that was weird sounding. It was like a little Dr. Phil-esque, at least to me in my ears. So D.
Wasn't southern enough. Planet.
Yes.
A game with D12s.
Big ones.
Not really, they don't have numbers on it. You could put numbers on
Yeah,
them and then
and
use
play
them.
D&D.
Get a Sharpie.
I think we should do that in our next session.
You're probably right. Our next session of Planet or...
D&D.
Oh, D&D, okay. I guess this is a game that has some elements that are somewhat unique, at least to the channel so far. I don't think we played a game that really has like a puzzle in multiple dimensions like this one does. Santorini kind of does.
What do you mean it kind of
feel
does?
like this
It's
is
both this way and this way.
Yeah, but this is going around though. This is circular logic.
Yeah, this is truly three-dimensional.
It's
Santorini is literally 3-dimensional.
I don't work in those kind of dimensions.
It's a different. It requires a different kind of thinking, though.
It does.
This is interesting, you know.
It requires definitely different thinking, but
Yeah.
Santorini is definitely.
You don't usually in a board game have to think in, I don't know, how to even describe it, 360 degrees, like around.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, because, you know, it's one of these games where it's not crucial necessarily that you connect everything nice and neat and make, like, logical continents and what have you. There are times where that is beneficial as far as, like, you know, having animals develop on your planet. But it is something you do need to sort of consider as you play the game. And I actually think it's kind of fun. You know, it's kind of the one thing the game has, aside from, you know, the visual appeal, obviously, is that actually the planning ahead you kind of have to do, it's pretty good. You have to make sure you're orienting things properly and then leaving yourself room on the other side of the globe, if that's how you are approaching it, to sort of make sure that at the end of the game you have opportunities to, you know, finish strong. You don't want to have a situation where you're left with nothing on the last turn,
Right.
and there's a bunch of animals coming out.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. It's definitely the most. I mean, there's not much to the game, so
it's a very light game.
So yeah, it's really the only thing you're really trying to do is plan out your world and try to plan accordingly for the animals coming out. So yeah, I mean that is the best part of the game.
Yeah, but I think it is richer for it. If this were like where you have like a map instead, something more like
definitely. I agree with that.
Like,
yes. Sometimes I think maybe the best way to sometimes these kind of things can seem almost novelty or like the tree from Everdell. It's cool, but it's pointless.
Yeah.
There is a point to it, and it is you have to plan around this. It is part of the strategy. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it helps with immersion too, because it actually does kind of at the end kind of look like you have a little planet there. You have distinct land masses and bodies of water, and it's neat. Will, any thoughts on this game?
Well,
haven't spoken yet.
First off, the Earth is flat, so I appreciate that this is flat.
I don't know if we should encourage any of that.
So, no, what I was going to say is, I everything you guys have said about like it being a three-dimensional puzzle, and that's like the crux of the gameplay. You're absolutely right, and it is fun. I compared it a lot of times when we've played to almost like a Rubik's Cube.
You have,
in the sense that because you can focus on one side at a time, but you'll forget about the ones that are on the other side, or may not forget. But it depends on how good your mind is at at memories later in the game, and it can get very challenging to be even early in the game, depending on how you're playing it, to be like where. I've screwed up a lot is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's a lot of moments where you're like, you think this game's super easy. You're like, I got this.
There's some games...
And then you, flip it and you're like, no!
Yeah, I've noticed with you, Will, there's games that you're very good at, and there are games you are not good at all. This is one of those games
everyone has their own, ways of processing information. Will has his strengths and weaknesses like anyone else. There are going to be people who, will struggle with the logic and strategy of this game. Because it is not something that you will use very often. Yeah.
And just in board gaming, you're not used to it.
Yeah. But just in life, you're not usually working
what I will
in a sphere.
Yeah. Obviously, for a game, this is, like I said, it's pretty...
It's a filler game.
It's remedial. It's
a family game in many ways.
Yes, it is. But it almost brings something to the board gaming community or hobby that I want to see more of this, but this can be almost a side part of it or just expanded on. It's cool to have this.
Yeah, it's like a proof of concept almost.
Yeah.
But you can... Let's have more games with magnetism.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Well, these reminded me a lot of the tiles in King Domino.
Yes.
But just pentagons, right?
They are pentagons.
I got that right? I don't know what penta means. I'm guessing 5. But no, what I'm saying is even the color scheme, and I couldn't help but to think almost feel like this game was like a prototype or like a concept of what if we took the idea of King Domino and took it into the three-dimensional space?
Yeah,
And so what Graham just said about this could be like a really good kicking off point for either Blue Orange or any other game designer or publisher to there's some potential with this kind of thing.
I mean, my biggest issue with the game is that there's not much to it, so it can become old quickly. But it's like I said, so that's my biggest. So almost
this is definitely a game I would think would be better with a younger kids.
Yes, definitely.
I think those would be the ones who would get the most consistent enjoyment out of this because it plays very quickly. So I can imagine the kids sitting down playing 3 sessions of this in a row and having fun with it because there isn't it requires some thought but not too much. I do think it is a good family game. I think they could have made it a little bit more complex, possibly. I can appreciate the, going with the KISS method, keeping things simple. Keeping things simple.
Keep things stupid.
But they could have done more. Maybe make the animals a bit more complicated in terms of how they score.
Different ways to score other than just the two
having maybe end game bonuses for having the largest individual continent or one.
That would be a good one.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There are just ways. There could have been more.
It could be expanded on. It is a great jumping off point, but and I understand why not. Something that has a new or unique mechanic like this, you don't want to go crazy your first time because then it could become too complex.
Other than that, the only other negatives I can say is that this game can, for a variety of reasons, can become so random that it's really hard for an individual player to win. Whether it be the the order that the tiles coming out, like, and you're trying to get your objective. Also, like, that might not be ideal for going for both animals and the tiles you need. Or just like the fact that you don't use the same animals every game, so there might be more animals of one color than another, which could be either advantageous or disadvantageous given your bonus objectives.
Definitely.
So, but that again, I can forgive it though, because this game is, like we established, very much a game for, family kind of players, not so much hardcore war gamers.
So, that's, it's probably not too much more to talk about as far as the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
You know about, obviously, the product itself. It's a big box for not much game, but, it
kind of has to be.
Kind of has to be, yeah. The planets, they're good size.
Production
quality is very good. The art on the, I like the animal art. I think it's very nicely done.
It's what you'd expect from a blue-orange game.
It's what you expect from a Sabrina Marimon art.
Yeah, her nature art is always vibrant and good-looking and detailed.
Check out our top 10 best-looking games.
I can't imagine that going with like magnetic tiles on a magnet, like this probably had a more expensive.
Might cost some, yes.
Production. So, I appreciate Blue Orange taking the risk and trying something new.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that the magnets they're not the strongest magnets in the world, so keep that in mind when you're playing.
Be careful,
you can't drop it. You do want to.
I did that a few times.
You don't want to handle it too much, even, because they can kind of slide and kind of rotate a little bit if you're not careful.
A few times, all I did was put it down, but I didn't realize I didn't put it down flat, and it just like it. Well, it would be more like I went like that. Well, that's a bad example because they didn't pop off. No. But the more you have on there, the more likely it is that'll happen and they'll pop off. I had to throw it a little harder, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that could happen, and that would ruin a whole game if someone had like 11 come off at once.
Obviously, there's only so much they can do. Consider weight when shipping these things. You don't want to have like heavy duty magnets.
And for a mechanic like this, it works really well for a mechanic like this. I could see plenty of companies failing at this part, and these things just don't stick on. But these do stick on very nicely for
Oh, I do want to mention is it is always nice to have a game that is completely language independent. This game is. You don't need any language for anything aside from learning the rules, which is not much of a task. The game does include English, Spanish and French.
Spanish,
So a whole lot of people can play this game without any trouble.
Yep,
that's always cool. I think we should give it our final scores. Anyway, all right. So our scores, we all have our own systems because we're our own men. We're individuals.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of do whatever you guys do.
Well, you don't.
All right.
So I go out of 5 stars. I think this is a perfectly fun little filler introductory sort of game. It's not, going to blow you away, but it is like we kind of said, it's a good base for something bigger and better probably, and it's should be good with kids. I don't mind playing it. It's definitely for in the middle of a board game night and someone wants to kill half an hour on this, I'd be down. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars out of 5.
There's, like I said, there's not much here, but what is here is good. So I don't have any major complaints with it, and I really think like the production quality of it and the artwork is really nice, and that's almost the best part of the game to me is just how that these things work as well as they do.
It's cool to play with, cool to look at.
Yeah, so I'll give it 1 thumb up.
1 thumb up, and Will.
Yeah, we already established that I'm not particularly good at it, but that doesn't change the fact that I enjoyed playing it, and like you guys, like we already said, it's a good family game. It may not be exactly what we all want to play, but objectively, what it does well. I'm gonna give it a B.
You're gonna give it a B.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good, because it does. I do think it could have been deeper, even because it's almost too light. Mm-hmm. I feel like even kids that are like 8 and older, because this game's 8 plus. Mm-hmm. Even some 8-year-olds would probably be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, remember what we were playing when we were like 10?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm just saying, we were playing like Game of Thrones, the board game, at 10 years old. So
no, we weren't.
We was close to that.
We were like 13.
Either way,
there's a difference there. Anyway, that's our review for Planet, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. Our social media links are in the description below for our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to follow us on any of those platforms. And don't forget to come back this coming Friday for our next Board Crazy playthrough of some game, which I currently don't know what it's going to be. So it's a mystery for everybody. How exciting.
We got a lot of recordings in the pipeline, so that's good.
And we also have lots of games to play, so anything can happen.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, thank you again for watching, and until next time, bye!
Bye. See ya.